Hello. So in SAP, a lot of the coding we do is just selecting data from SAP or custom tables, creating joins, and somehow using that data either to display it on the screen as ALV or creating a file, or even taking the data and posting into an SAP document or updating other tables with that data. So in this simple tool I've created, a cloud-based tool, we can take all these functionalities into an easy-to-use graphical user interface. There's a lot of advantage of doing this. It takes the guesswork out of the project. It takes it writes syntax error-free code for you, which compliant with the standards and naming conventions SAP recommends. And it's also human silly error-free, like things like, hey, I missed a little field here and there. It's going to take care of that automatically. For simplicity, let's take an existing code, existing project, as we call them. Each project is SAP program name. So, for example, ABAP test, which should have been the ABAP test, is actually the name of the program it's going to create. Let's open it up. As you can see, this project or the program has three components. One is the company header, then which type is very important. The type is a code block. That means a predefined block of code that this program is just going to attach. Select statement, something you have to write using the GUI. And there's another code block, the ALV. That's ALV is the ABAP list viewer, where you can see the output in a nice interface, like an Excel sheet on the screen on the ABAP GUI. I want to show you what it is. First step, let's see what these code blocks are. Code blocks, you can have to go here. Code blocks are code. It's code blocks. The header, for example, click here. Header has no code. It's going to put in the documentation section at the top of the program. At the beginning of the program, it says, hey, this is my company's program, this is our copyright, stuff like that. It depends on your company, what they want you to put there. The other one, the ALV, is a little bit more involved. What I just clicked and opened it. It's going to have some global variables. It's going to have some forms that you're going to call. It's also going to have some documentation involved. So I have collected all the ALV functionality that I've ever used, the most complicated ones, and put them all together in these forms. The editable ALV, drop-down list, double-click, hotspot, everything is in there. And then some of the code goes to the selection screen, especially the display variant. And then you have to call the ALV display at the start of selection. It's all there, already put in. So you can add your own code blocks here. Say you're creating a document, BAPI document post, or doing a table update. You can put them all nicely in a form and perform. I'm going to show you in the next video, even those BAPI calls can be automated. The code of the BAPI call can be automatically created. That's part of the next video. So you can get those, either you wrote the code, or you copied from Stack Overflow, or you automatically generated. Put them all here. Nice, like those code are error-free. They're like modules. All right, let's get back to our code. Now let's look at the most complicated part, the select statement. By most complicated, I mean a little bit complicated. So a select statement has many tables. SAP has 1,000, 300, 400,000 tables. You cannot get all the data at the same time. You have to select. In this demo system, I've got only 4 tables. You can always search them by, you don't have to know the name of the table. You can always search them by the description or the Here it's easy. You can see all of them. But when you have thousands of tables, it's going to be complicated. Well, in this example, I've already chosen VBKD, two tables, VBKD and VBAC. Let's delete them and VBAC and VBKD. We chose the two. You have to give that particular select statement a name, which becomes the name of the form. And it's convenient to name it output because ALV takes the output from the form call output. So it's very convenient. Then you have no syntax errors. Now you have to select one of those tables you have already selected. Now it's a two-step process, just to make it more efficient. Well, you can always search header data flow. So then you hit enter, and you hit enter. All the table shows up. Some tables can have massive amount of data, so you're better off always typing it. Your functional person is probably going to so a lot of the functional people, the person who is a business or the functional person is probably going to know the name of the field by the description anyway. So, and then the joins. Oh, unfortunately, I made some mistake. It's actually not VVFA. It should be VVKD. I'm sorry about that. So I'm going to take something from VVKD. VVKD. Hit enter. Delete this thing. Let's take tax. I had no idea that VVKD has a field called tax, but I just did that. And the joins you can define. Select a table. Just be cognizant of the fact that you have to hit enter. Then the fields show up. Enter. Okay. Oh, this is the where clause. Sorry. And also I defaulted these two things because most of the times you'll be doing and this comes from the selection screen. You'll see it in the code. This is the select options. Anyway, we save that. Save the project. Now here's another thing. Remember I showed you the code block? Code block is a common set of blocks like ALV that a lot of codes is going to use. My company header, for example, every program has to have the company's header, like some kind of a documentation. Custom code is very similar, but it's not a universal, it's not a global thing, it's a local. This particular piece of code is local to this program, so only accessible to this program. You suppose you're filtering out some data from the main output. It's very specific to this program only, so you can put those things. It's very similar to code block, but as I said, it only goes here in the form name. It's going to have the proper form name. You only have to know the syntax for that. You can save that. Save the project, and hit automate. Voila, you have the entire SAP code. You put it in your SC38 and take a look what it does. Actually, I'm going to show you right here. The where statement, as you see, selection screen, it came as select options. And here's a neat thing about this. It goes to data dictionary and gets the descriptions of the fields you're using. There's no guesswork. What is that field? What is this SAP? SAP always uses German names, archaic German names. So it's very hard to say VBELN. You don't know what VBEL is. It's not very obvious. You may know it later on. So it actually nicely documents what it is, which table description comes up. That's one of the advantages. If you do it manually, you'll be too lazy to write these documentation. Yep, that's it. So